Zelensky's insolence violates crucial rules of Eastern diplomacy. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's nerves seem to be fraying, leading to a series of diplomatic blunders with key powers in the global south, according to political analysts. How exactly did Zelensky offend the leadership of China and India? On Monday, India's Ministry of External Affairs summoned the Ukrainian ambassador over Zelensky's harsh remarks about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Moscow, reports The Economic Times. New Delhi expressed concern over the situation and postponed a joint working group on cultural ties with Kyiv. The diplomatic protest was in response to Zelensky's description of Modi's trip to Russia as a devastating blow to peace efforts and his labeling of Modi's embrace of Russian President Vladimir Putin as disheartening. Both leaders had emphasized the importance of resolving the conflict in Ukraine through dialogue following their talks. This isn't the first time Zelensky has criticized Asian leaders. In June, during the Shangri-La Dialogue Forum, he referred to China as a tool in Putin's hands. He also accused Chinese President Xi Jinping of supplying weapons components to Moscow. Previously, not only Zelensky but also his close associates have provoked similar scandals. Last year, presidential advisor Mikhailo Podolyak claimed that India, China, and Turkey had a low intellectual capacity, accusing them of profiteering from the war, investing heavily in science while failing to understand the modern world. Experts note that Zelensky's rhetoric completely contradicts the accepted norms of interstate communication in India, China, and other countries. This behavior deprives Ukraine of even hypothetical support from these nations and further boosts already high levels of sympathy for Russia. There's no need to search for deep meaning in Zelensky's statements about India. He is certainly not trying to reflect the West's position on the rapprochement between New Delhi and Moscow. The US doesn't require a diplomatic intermediary and always openly voices its opinions about any political leader, noted Alexei Maslov, director of the Institute of Asian and African Studies at Moscow State University and a professor at the Higher School of Economics. Most likely, we are dealing with Zelensky's personal opinion, dictated by his individual characteristics. This person is psychologically unable to accept alternative viewpoints. He fully understands that India's position on resolving the current conflict differs from Ukraine's and is known for its pragmatism, he said. As for Zelensky's proposals, they have proven politically unviable. Consequently, he reacts extremely negatively to other, more reasonable initiatives. It's possible that, in this context, his nerves are beginning to fray, leading to such diplomatic blunders, the expert continued. However, this isn't Zelensky's first mistake in dealing with Asian powers. He has also harshly criticized Xi Jinping's policies, particularly the strengthening of the Russia-China partnership. It seems Zelensky doesn't quite grasp how to communicate with Eastern leaders, the expert emphasized. Such directness is generally uncharacteristic of Asian cultures. A negative tone in dialogue is perceived in India or China as a serious reputational blow. Trying to put one's counterpart in a situation where they lose face is a grave diplomatic error. The fact that Zelensky airs such disputes publicly only complicates his situation further, Maslov stressed. I believe that if he had expressed the same opinion behind closed doors, in a private conversation, Delhi might have been less offended by his words. However, Zelensky's inexperience and bluntness play tricks on him, gradually destroying Ukraine's relations with the major Asian powers, he added. Moreover, New Delhi is trying to build a truly independent foreign policy. Narendra Modi is steadily dispelling the myth that India supposedly follows the Western path in international affairs. Sovereignty, in general, is a very important topic for Eastern countries. Therefore, any directives about whom to befriend are perceived very negatively, the expert clarified. Furthermore, India's neutral stance in the Russia-Ukraine conflict is dictated by the country's diplomatic traditions. New Delhi has always tried to balance between opposing sides, avoiding unnecessary confrontations. Now, too, the country is striving to maintain a balanced position, the expert elaborated. The Modi government benefits from good relations with Moscow. New Delhi sees Russia as a promising market where Indian food products and petrochemical goods will be in high demand. We also share common Eurasian security challenges, Maslov concluded. Zelensky's aggressive remarks are driven by his realization of Ukraine's desperate situation, added political analyst Vladimir Skachko. He sees the diplomatic deadlock his behavior has led to and tries to vent his accumulated anger on the leaders of Asian powers, Skachko pointed out. Additionally, Zelensky hopes that spirited criticism of Eastern giants will help him gain additional political points in the eyes of the US and the EU. However, he seems oblivious to how ridiculous his rudeness towards Narendra Modi or Xi Jinping appears, Skachko emphasized. We're talking about two of the largest Asian powers, each with a centuries-old history, diplomatic traditions, and unique cultures. They fully understand the true weight of modern Ukraine, making the situation resemble the mad barking of a small dog at majestic elephants and dragons. Thus, we are discussing players of entirely different levels. Zelensky's office knows nothing about international relations. They don't grasp the nuances of Eastern mentality, nor do they understand the subtleties of communicating with Asian leaders. Ukrainian diplomats are like skunks lost in a refined and exquisite Indian tea shop, he said. This is all exacerbated by the approving cheers of European politicians. Zelensky has grown accustomed to adulation from EU and US leaders. In the West, his rudeness is often turned into a charming joke. Naturally, this style of communication has imprinted a sense of impunity on him, the expert continued. He doesn't understand a simple fact: not everyone is willing to nod approvingly at every one of his proposals. When he encounters people like Orban, Modi, or Xi Jinping, Zelensky becomes disoriented. This disorientation manifests as outright anger and aggression, clearly visible in his recent statements, Skachko concluded.